It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we're tracking my journey on Sorare. I'm fairly new to the game, but I'm having a great time. This weekend just gone was a great weekend for me. I won a little reward. I'll show you later what reward I won, which card I won, which lineup it was from, but I'm rocking the Santos shirt today because it was a little card, a Santos card, a guy wearing a Santos shirt who sealed the deal, got me those points, got me the card. So we're done in the Santos shirt for that. It's been a good weekend for me. Winning the card, it's a great feeling. I haven't won in maybe in like a month or maybe a bit more. So I was kind of like, just missing. And even though it wasn't the greatest card I won, just that feeling of like, what card have I won? Opening it. It's exciting. It reminded me basically why I'm loving Sorare, why when these changes happen, I've got to make sure all my ducks are in a line for the roadmap changes in August. But for now, I'm enjoying the under 23 league still. I'm enjoying the capped leagues while they're still here. We're having a good time. Let's start this video by taking a look at how I did last week in a week which saw me win a reward. Okay, this is how I did last weekend, April the 12th to April the 16th. There was a midweek, which, as usual, I didn't really have any teams in. Recently, I've not been having many midweek lineups because there's been a lot of European football and my lineups don't really suit that. So no Champions League players, no Europa League for me. But the last weekend, we had a Cap 270 team, which won us a reward. Lovely stuff. The Cap League still working for me, working with my gallery, because I think goalkeepers and strikers are the kind of things I need to invest in the summer. My plan is to still challenge a champion in Premier League next season. In the summer break, I'm going to use, when the European leagues finish, I'm going to hope to see some prices come down, hope there's some sales, and kind of prepare for next season. So now all of my transfers are preparing for next season. Even if I'm picking up a few bargains here or there right now, it's all with next season in mind. So for now, I'm playing the capped leagues while they're still there, mainly the Cap 270 and the Cap 220, because that's kind of what my gallery suits. And then next season, I'm preparing slowly for the other leagues in August. So 270, I mean, Bilal in goal, 98 points. I think that's his best ever score he's given me. So delighted with Bilal. Thank you. Andy Robertson, 79 points. Considering Liverpool lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace, 79 points is a great score. He basically got an off-the-line clearance, which is why his score was bigger than the other defenders. So no complaints there. Delighted with Andy Robertson. Best there in Germany with a solid 85. Mr. Consistent. Yeah, I mean, it was the second best score on the team, but there's no way I was going to captain Bilal, the goalkeeper, especially when he had an away game. I just didn't see that clean sheet coming. So I think I made the right captaincy call. Josh Cullen, Burnley captain. I've been saying this for a few weeks on the channel. Josh Cullen, I picked him up for about 50p because I was like, Burnley are going to have a good end of the season. The relegated teams or the relegated threatened teams always put weird scores together. Or they're battling for survival. They're going to have some good performances now and again. I really like Josh Cullen as a player. When I decided I want to get a Burnley player a few weeks ago, I watched them and I just thought he's a great player. I loved watching Josh Cullen. He comes deep, collects the ball a lot, makes a lot of forward passes, which is great for his Sorare scoring. And we think of Burnley. I think people still think of Burnley as Sean Dyche's Burnley and that style of football. Companies trying to get Burnley to play a different style of football, which many people are saying is why they're going to get relegated, because he's not being flexible with his tactics and he's trying to play this nice brand of football instead of being practical when he's about to get relegated. But that means that players like Josh Cullen are fitting in this system. So he's a really creative, really beautiful player to watch. He's been getting a lot of good scores recently. 53 is actually a kind of low score for him. His pass scores have been a bit higher. And I think he's got Sheffield United at the weekend. So I'm really happy I picked up Josh Cullen. He's been part of a team that won me a reward already. And I think even if Burnley get relegated, I mean, he's an Ireland international. He was playing in Anderlecht a few seasons ago, so, he's got a bit of culture about him. He's a continental player. I think if Burnley get relegated, he'll either find it a lot easier next season and get big scores again, or he'll move to a team that if there's any decent scouts watching Josh Cullen at Burnley, they'll be going, he could fit in quite a few mid-table Premier League teams. So Josh Cullen was the lowest scorer of the team, but 53 is not a bad score. And then wearing his Santos shirt, Aguirre at Atlas on loan. 2 assists from him, so it's a delightful score. He was my last player to play And I think I was going to get a tier 5 reward. He gave me a 74, which boosted that all the way up to a tier 3 reward, which is great for me because I think I've only won 2 player rewards so far. So fairly new to the game. If you're a Sorare Pro and you're seeing this and you're thinking tier 3 reward, that's not exciting. But for me, it is, because I think my last 2 cards I've won have been tier 5 and tier 4. So we're going in the right direction. Tier 3 now, we're moving in the right direction. I think I've won 3 cards and 2 thresholds. So they were like $5 each. I don't do the thresholds anymore because they're only worth $2 if you enter the lower one, but it's not worth it. 270 and 220 are going to be my priorities. This week has just further reminded me to keep doing that because I want a reward. So I'm going to basically do this until August when everything changes. And in the meantime, pick up a few bargains for next season. And then I'm scouting for next season in the summer, European summer break, pick up a goalkeeper, pick up a striker so I can enter the Champion and Premier League divisions. And until then, we're having fun with the Capped League. So this was the 270. The 220 was an okay score, 277, but no reward. Acevedo from Santos in goal and Ramiro Sordo, the striker from Santos, nothing great to report from them. Chalobah, a defender who I really like at Chelsea. I think he should get a lot of game time. Whether he does or not, we'll see, because, you know, Chelsea have a few defensive options, but I think Chalobah should play every week because he's young, talented. He's really composed. I like how he plays. 53 is not 55. Sorry, it's not the best score considering Chelsea kept a clean sheet, but Everton did no attacking, so it wasn't really an eventful game for him. But, you know, still happy with him. He helps with my Chelsea collection. I'm still looking to pick up Chelsea cards from this season, last season, to help with my collection. João Paulinho at Fulham, giving me a 70 score, which is sort of average for him. And then Rashika, who I captained because Besiktas had a really good game, really good fixture. They drew in the end, disappointing result, and then disappointing score from him. So that's how the 220 did. The lowest scoring team for me was the under-23 league, and that was mainly because Enzo Fernandez picked up an injury before the game, so wasn't playing for Chelsea. I am a little bit worried Chelsea did so well without him that maybe he doesn't come back into the team now, even when he's back from his injury, because I don't think it's a serious injury. But do you mix with a team that's just won 6-0? We'll see. So Enzo Fernandez didn't play. Conor Gallagher was the right captaincy choice, did really well, 94 points from him. He's looking really good, Conor Gallagher. He's picking up goals here and there. He's taking corners. He's getting assists. He was playing for a slightly further forward when Enzo Fernandez was in the team. He was playing slightly deeper in the team because Enzo Fernandez wasn't there. I think if Enzo Fernandez doesn't play, the silver lining for me is that Conor Gallagher will play a bit deeper, and he seems to get better scores when he plays deeper because he's more involved in play. He breaks up the play a lot, makes a lot more passes. So there'll be a silver lining if Enzo Fernandez doesn't come back in the team, which is that Conor Gallagher should be more involved in play. And then my goalkeeper, not a great score from him. Soleil, 55 for him. That's not a good score. It was an away game which they lost. I think the Austrian league is now entering a playoff stage, so that's possibly why RB Salzburg weren't quite at the races at the weekend, because I think they're a little bit complacent. They know they've made the playoff stages, so they weren't properly focused. But now that the playoff stages is starting, he should be more focused. RB Salzburg should get their act together, hopefully. So he's still a good card for my under-23s. And then we're having striking problems still. Kamil Nejli at Rotterdam, not a good score from him. I knew he wouldn't start, but he's been coming off the bench and getting like 30 minutes every game. So I was kind of hoping with a good fixture, he could pick up something. He didn't. It's still an issue for me, the strikers for my under-23 league. I just don't have anyone who I can confidently go, that guy's going to deliver. I've had players who have in the past. It just seems to be with the under-23 strikers, their form just comes and goes. So that's another sort of position I'm going to be scouting in the summer, the European leagues, when there's sales, under-23 strikers. Let's see if I can pick up someone. So that's how I did last week. Best league was the Capped League, capped under the Cap 270. And I know what you're thinking, Amreezy. Who did you win? Who was your reward? Who did you pick up as your tier 3 reward? Well, let's now look at my portfolio and let's see the new cards that I got. So this was the card that I won. Christopher Ayer at Brentford. who's just picked up an injury. So not the best timing for me, but it's a light injury. He might miss this weekend, but he should be coming back. So I did think, should I sell him? Because, a Brentford defender isn't the most exciting. However, I did look at his past scores. He has got some good scores in him. He is, a youngish defender, 25 years old. He's still got his peak of his career to come, and a Norway international. So I might keep him for a little bit. I might wait till he comes back from his injury, see how Brentford end the season. If he has a few good performances, might keep him. He's on the fence. I'm not like super tied to him. I'm not, his value is a bit low at the moment because of this little injury he's got. I'll see what his value does maybe in a week or two. I've also got Norgard at Brentford. So I've got a midfielder. That's now 2 Brentford players I have. If I could pick up a striker, maybe Umbuemo, maybe Ivan Toney. The goalkeeper Flecken's quite a reasonably priced Premier League goalkeeper. I could, have a little bit of a Brentford stack developing. So all of that's in my mind with Ayer. So here's the reward that I won, which isn't a bad reward. Best card that I've won probably. So it's the first time I've won a card that I've known the player. The last 2 cards I won, I've had to Google them. I've had to go on Sorare data, sort of see who they are as a player. But with this guy, I knew who he was. It's the first card I've won where I've gone, I know that player. Nice. The other 2 cards that I bought are Omar Campos, because he helped with my Santos collection from this season. I'm now at 3% with my Santos collection from this season. He was a missing piece in that team, and I only got him for £1, which was quite good. He's playing for LAFC in the MLS. He's had a little break because he was injured. He came back from injury last week, so I'm hoping he gets back in the team. He's an under-23 defender as well, so he's got some under-23 potential if he can get back in the LAFC team. He's a highly rated team player for the Mexico national team as well. You know me, I love Mexico, I love Mexican teams, I love Mexican football, I love Mexican players. So the fact that he's supposed to be the Mexican left back now for years to come. So to get him for £1, I think is a nice price. And then Raul Jimenez was the last player that I bought. I bought him yesterday. 50p. I think this is good business. I basically read an article that Raul Jimenez might be going back to America in Liga MX in the summer because he's back from injury now. But Fulham have basically when he got injured, Muniz came in the team for Fulham and has been doing really well. So Jimenez can't get back in the team even though he's back from injury. I don't think Jimenez is going to stay at Fulham if he's not first team. He's 32 years old. He's still got a couple of years left to give a good team. These rumors of him going back to Mexico really excite me because if he goes back to the Mexican league, I can see him being like sort of a Gignac fella where it'll be so easy for him with his qualities, with what he possesses. He's too good for Liga MX. So if he goes back to Liga MX, America is where he used to play. I can see, America have basically Henry Martin, whose contract is expiring in the summer. And there's a lot of talk about they're not going to renew his contract and Raul Jimenez could replace him. So that's all I needed to read to get Raul Jimenez for 50p while his stock's really low. This is a transfer for next season. We'll see how it pays off. I just think he's too good to sit on the bench. And also I read that he really wants to be in the Mexico 26 World Cup squad, which is going to be held in US, Canada, and Mexico. He really wants to be in that Mexico team for the World Cup. I think he's going to do whatever it takes for his career to make sure he's fit, playing regularly, so that he's in that Mexico team for the World Cup. With all of that in mind, that's why I bought him for 50p. So these are the 3 cards that I've bought since last week. These were the ones from the previous week. That's how the portfolio is looking. Like I said, the transfers that I'm making, Jimenez, Campos, they're for next season. They're for the future. I'm not going to be making any transfers for now because I think the prices are coming down with the end of the season approaching in Europe. I just think, it's a silly time to buy cards when the prices are coming down. I'm going to wait for the summer when hopefully those prices are at the bottoms. Pick up a few cards for next season. So that's my strategy. That's the portfolio. Let's take a look at the weekend coming and what I'm thinking of doing, my lineups for the weekend coming up. Okie dokie, here we go. These are my teams for the weekend coming up, which is April the 19th to the 23rd. I put on screen the fixtures that are kind of most relevant to my team, the fixtures that I'm targeting this week. So we have these three leagues, Champion and Challenger. No interest in entering Champion and Challenger until August. Contender, because I've got a lot of Mexican cards, I will be entering when I have good fixtures. When I have fixtures that nicely line up for Contender, I'll be entering. That's not this week. Santos have a tricky game, which is where most of my cards are from. Pumas have a tricky game. Necaxa have a tricky game. So it's just not working out for me to enter the Contender. So under 23 league, once again, I'm going to be going for the goalkeeper or bed. Has got an okay fixture. It's tricky with him. When he has good fixtures, he seems to do well. When he has bad fixtures, he doesn't do well. He's a lottery. You never know what you're going to get from Paris FC. So it doesn't really matter who he has. He's my goalkeeper for my under 23s. Soleil, like I said, the Austrian league's now entering its sort of playoff format. I'm going to hope that RB Salzburg up their game. They're playing the sort of... they're playing like the team at the bottom of the playoff places. So it should technically be the easiest fixture that they could have had within the playoff teams. So I'm going to captain him for that reason. It's a home fixture as well. I'm going to hope he delivers. Alan Minder at Cercle Bruges. He's in the team because his form's been okay. A lot of good scores above 60. So putting him in there. Jordan Carrillo. I probably think he's Santos' best player. He's the most creative player for Santos. He has the best sort of L15 score. So he's in the team because it's not the best fixture for Santos against Pachuca. However, you don't really know what to expect from Santos, really. They had a disappointing game last game. They drew before that to America. The season for Santos is coming to an end. It doesn't look like they're going to make the next stage of the playoff season, which means their season's going to end early, which is horrible for my Sorare cards because they're not going to get games. But for now, I'm kind of hoping that Santos kind of almost don't have any pressure with the season looking like it's over soon. Hopefully they just kind of are a bit more free playing. There's no pressure on them. And Jordan Carrillo can do well. I didn't really also have a lot of other options. So I'm not feeling as confident as I was last week on any of my teams, really. So there's a lot of players like Jordan Carrillo, like Alan Minder, who are kind of in the team because the other players have really bad fixtures and they have slightly better fixtures. So I'm not feeling too confident about the under 23s for that reason. Cade Cowell is going to be my striker. So I've basically got two options up front, Nejli from Rotterdam and Cade Cowell. They're the two strikers that get game minutes. So he's getting the game this week because he has a slightly better fixture. Let's see how he does. That's going to be my under 23 team. And then once again, I'm entering the Cap 270 and the Cap 220. The 270 team is very similar. These four players are all the same from the weekend that just won me a reward. So let's hope that all of those four players kind of have some confidence going. Bilal, after his clean sheet, now has a home fixture against a better team, a team that's like worse. So it's a better fixture for him, and he's at home. So if he got a 98 last week, let's see what he does this week. Best there is playing RB Leipzig, which is a tricky fixture for him. However, he does well in good big games. He did well in the 2 weeks ago when he played Bayern Munich, when he got an assist and then maybe a goal. He does well in big games. He's the main threat for Haderheim. He's the guy. So I'm going to captain him with that kind of confidence in him, with his good scores recently. I'm going to be playing Quarta. He's the guy that's coming into this team instead of Andy Robertson. Mainly because he's playing bottom of the league, Salernitana. Bottom of the league. And he's had a good few scores lately as well, last two games. So I'm bringing him in. He's not been in any of my lineups for a while. So let's see how he does. I like the purple shirt matching Josh Cullen's purple shirt. Nice bit of purple there. So Josh Cullen, Burnley. I've been talking about in this video. He's got Sheffield United away. Nice fixture. Even though it's away, it's Sheffield United. It's a relegation 6-pointer. So I'm hoping that means that Burnley are super up for this. He's super up for this. Let's see what he can deliver. And then Aguirre is in this team mainly because we don't have good striking options and also because he got 2 assists in the last game. So I'm hoping he carries that form into this game. It's an away game. So let's see what he does. It's not the best fixture, but I'm hoping more. I'm ignoring the fixture and focusing more on his form and hoping he can keep some form going. So that's going to be my 270 team. That's my training team. My 220 team is going to be this. Acevedo in goal for Santos, Munoz up front for Santos. So already I'm not expecting much for this team because Santos don't have a good fixture, and it's Santos. They're not in the best time this season. So there and there, Andy Robertson's going to be my captain because I think Liverpool kind of need to win to stay in the title race. It's Fulham, which Fulham have been playing well recently, so it's not the easiest fixture, but I just think Andy Robertson is probably the best of these guys. So he's going to be my captain. Villapando is playing Mazatlan. So even though Juarez aren't the best team, Mazatlan also aren't. So I don't really know what to expect there. So I'm kind of hoping that that's a kind of clash of the teams towards the bottom of the table. Let's see if he can deliver. And then Jacob Christensen is an interesting player. FC Köln. He's come back from an injury lately. And before his injury, he was doing really well. So he was injured for this time. He came back briefly here. Missed a few games. Came back last week against Bayern Munich and got a 59. Now they're playing bottom of the league. So it's another fixture where he's playing the bottom of the league team. He came back in the team for the Bayern Munich game. He got a few minutes. How many minutes did he get? He wasn't in the starting lineup. 90 minutes. So he played the full 90 minutes against Bayern Munich. And even though they lost 2-0, he still got 59, which is quite good considering they lost. So I'm hoping he's in the team again this week at home against bottom of the table team. Let's see what he does. It makes sense in terms of fixtures to put him in the team. Also, because he's been injured for so long, his L15 is really low. So it makes sense to put him in this Cap 220 team. Although I'm not feeling too confident about these guys. So it's a very punty lineup. So they're the lineups I'm putting out for this week. I think the lineup I'm most confident about is once again the Cap 270 with 4 of the same players that won me a reward. And the one addition playing bottom of the league team. So they're my lineups for the weekend. Let me know in the comments what you think. I appreciate all the advice on X, the artist formerly known on Twitter, and all the comments down here in the comments on YouTube. I love the advice. I'm still learning, people. I'm having fun. Like and subscribe. Help your boy out. You know the algorithm game, guys. Every like and subscribe helps. And until then, good luck with your weekends. I'll see you next week. Peace.